monitor the chat and get everything going. But by way of introductions, my name is Megan, and I'm really excited to help you all today and see how I can assist you with some of the Trello trainings that are Trello tools that you have access to, plus a lot of other things that I know Doterra leaders are using right now in their businesses. So I just want to see how I can help. I do a lot of different things. I do.
Yeah, you muted.
Oh, Jennifer, are you muting me?
You're unmuted.
Jennifer, but did you mute me or did I mute myself?
No, I didn't mute you.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure what happened. That was so weird. Anyway, I do a lot of different things. I help people find their assistants. That's one of many things that I do. I have a whole bunch of Doterra assistants that are already trained and ready to support you. And I also do a lot of coaching. A lot of people hire me to do one-on-one systems and tools coaching is to help them figure out how to follow people along in your process, whether they're a customer or a prospect or a builder. So those are some of the many things that I do. But let's just jump right in so I can show you how to use these Trello funnels. Type in the chat just so I know, how actively are you using the Trello funnels? Are you using them quite a bit, or are you kind of thinking about using them? That will give me a better idea on where to kind of focus our attention today. And I'm going to share my screen really quick and show you Trello. Actually, can you see my Trello board? Okay, perfect. So Trello actually just came out with some really cool updates. And okay, so some of you are thinking about it, use it every day. Okay, perfect, awesome. Everybody's kind of at different spaces with it. Awesome. So what I want you to do is I want you to feel like you're getting a lot of value from this. Go ahead and type if you have any questions in the chat of things you would love me to focus on today with the Trello training. If there are things you're like, how do I do this? Or I'd love to know this a little bit better, type them in the chat and then I will answer those questions. But I did want to let you know that they came out with some really big updates recently on the views. And so I wanted to show those to you. And sweet Angie actually sent this to me. I didn't even know this was happening. So thank you, Angie. This article will send to you, but it shows some new changes that have happened with Trello where you can actually change the view that you see all of your boards in. So you can see them in a timeline, a table, a dashboard, or a calendar. And so for example, oh, by the way, this is only available if you have the business class or up. And so what that means is if you do have the business class or up, if you're paying for it, if you're paying for Trello, when you are in any board, you'll see this new little feature over here on the side of the name of your board. And if you drop down, you can change the view of that board. And so if you aren't paying for Trello, that's totally fine because you can totally use all of these without the paid versions. But if you are wanting to pay for it and get some of these extra features, there are some really cool things that it does. I don't really use the map feature, but if you happen to have a lot of different locations on your cards, it would group them all together in a map. The timeline is really great because it will show you all of your cards and then it will put any deadlines you have associated with those cards on a timeline for you. So you can see all of your things in real time. So this is awesome for your funnels, right? If you have a deadline on when you want to follow up with somebody and you put it into the timeline view, you can see all the people when they receive their samples, when you want to follow up with them and those kinds of things. If you're very detailed in your card, you can use that way. Also, and the calendar view is very similar. You can see just on a calendar view what things are coming up or what are due. And I really like that feature. And lastly, the dashboard. This sort of gives you just some basic statistics and things like that, but I don't really think I'll be using that a whole lot. But I wanted you to know that those were there so that if you ever find the need for it, that there are more things you can do with Trello than even thought. So really quick, let me just make sure I'm not missing anything in the chat. Sherry says, how does this compare to Enroll Pro? That is a really, really good question. So the difference with Enroll Pro and the Trello funnels is Trello is free, and that's probably one of the biggest ones. Trello is, let's see, I'll stop sharing for just a second. So Trello actually, you can pay for Trello, but you absolutely don't have to. They both come preloaded with a lot of different templates and things like that. Enroll Pro does a little bit more of the automation. So it might send out some of the messages for you, or it might send out some of those newsletters. I don't feel like, if I remember right, I don't think Enroll Pro has as much of the customization, but I know that it's also pretty pricey. So I know some people will actually buy Enroll Pro and then take the templates and drop it into whatever system they're using, whether that's Wavoto or ClickUp or whatever system you're using as an email or texting service to communicate with your team. Some people will do that, or they'll use it right within Enroll Pro, because I know that some you can actually send out messages and things within Enroll Pro. So Trello is mostly to help you just kind of see where people are, similar to Enroll Pro, but it's more of like a drag and drop. So you would need to come in here regularly to see who needs your attention. And this is how I would use it. Okay, so if I were here in the builder funnel, actually, let's just go show you the customer funnel. I think that one will be a little bit better of an example. Okay. Okay, so if I were using this to kind of track my people, if I had a new customer, you get that email that there's a new customer on your team, or every week you go in and you grab new enrollments from your back office and you can drop them here. So what you would do is you just push this little create template button, and we're going to call this person Dan. And this is your new enrolled customer, and you're just going to drag them along the funnel. And the reason I like this is because I can visually see where everybody's at. I feel like a lot of times we have some people in different phases of their doTERRA journey, whether they're being sampled or they've actually enrolled or they attended a class. They're all in different stages, and it's hard to remember who needs what. And so I like to see visually what needs my attention. So if I jump in once a day and see all the people in all the different columns, then I know who I need, then I know what to do with that person next. If they're in this column, that means they need the welcome email or a package of some kind. And I've given you a lot of templates and things that you can use to make each set of the funnel happen. And then I also have some tips on how to use an assistant for each part of the funnel. And so the difference, Sherry, is that it doesn't send the emails out for you, and it doesn't send the text messages out for you, but it helps you visually see where they are. And so if you want to pay for something like Enroll Pro, that's awesome. I think Enroll Pro is a really great service and option, but I also know that if you have something like Kajabi or Wavoto and you have Enroll Pro, it can get kind of expensive. And so my intention in creating these is that it's duplicable. So any person on your team can immediately jump in and use these for free, that they won't have to, the business is all about duplication, right? And so if you're doing something that's really expensive, someone enrolling will look at that and think, I can never do that because I need organization also, but that's too expensive. And so this is a way to make it a little bit more manageable. When right when they decide they want to share or host a class, then you can send them the prospect funnel, and that's essentially your names list. So if you go to the prospect funnel, let's see if I can even find it for a second, prospect funnel, this becomes their names list, and all they have to do is start brainstorming all the people that they want to reach out to, and they just start typing all their names in, and they type in their 50, and it just goes. And then when they're ready to make that initial contact with someone and invite them to a class or whatever it is they're going to do, then they just start moving people along. And so I like this because, again, anybody can use it. It's very, very simple. Even your new builders can, and sharers can use it. But if you're really into Enroll Pro, that's awesome too. I do think that using something like Kajabi and Wavoto and Enroll Pro all at once can sometimes be a lot. And so if you're looking for a simple way to just track your people, this is one option. Okay, let me make sure I'm not missing anything in the chat really fast. Okay, perfect. I did want to show you, let's see, since everybody's using these on different levels, are there things that you wish you knew better about how to use the funnels and how they operate? Or do you pretty much understand power-ups and, you know, moving cards, moving person from one board to another? Does everybody understand those things, or would you find it helpful if I showed you how? In the meantime, I want to show you the shipping tracker, because I don't think everybody, sometimes this one gets missed. I think it's one of the things that will save you the most time. Don't understand power-ups. Okay, what is a power-up? Okay, let me show you that really quickly. This is a good example. Okay, so here you go. The power-ups are basically a superpower for every board. And I believe on the free version of Trello, you get one power-up per board. And to add a power-up to a board, you go to Show Menu, click the left button, and then click Power-Ups. You can see that this one already has the Package Tracker power-up associated with this board. Now you can get really lost in all of the different superpowers you can add to a board. There's card mirroring and there's so many different things. But you can explore that here if you want to see like, gosh, it'd be really great if I could get these things to talk together or if they connected somehow. This is where you can kind of explore some of those added features. If you really want more power-ups, then you can pay for Trello. But right now, for the purpose of this demonstration, the package tracker is already on this board because it's the shipping tracker board. And this is what it does. So I actually created this test shipment right here. And all you have to do, imagine there's nothing shown right here. It's just a blank card. The moment that you ship a package and you have a tracking number, you come in here and click track package and you can type the name of it, like whoever it was supposed to go to, and even like in parentheses, like this was a sample or this was a gift or whatever it is that you're sending, samples for Sally. And then you can type in the tracking number and choose the carrier around the world. It's not just for the US, it's all over. Canada Post, Brazil, Germany, all over. And once you choose that, it will auto-populate. This just pulled in automatically. And it showed me exactly where it was going and when and everything. And so on the front of the card, you can see that it was delivered. So if there was somebody that messages you and says, hey, I know that you were going to send my samples, where are they? And you've already put their tracking information in here. You don't even have to go grab that tracking information, type it into USPS and see where it is. You just pull up the card and it says, oh, it looks like it's in transit. And it looks like it's going to arrive on October 13th, da, 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 da. And you don't have to go do anything. It just kind of does it for you, which is really, really awesome. Yeah, this would have been really great for Christmas shopping. Yeah, personal stuff and for business, right? Okay, let's see. Let me just make sure. Jill says, I have Enroll Pro and Trello. It sounds like, or I like Enroll Pro for the resources and templates and graphics, but default back to Trello for customer tracking. Yeah, I've actually heard that a lot, Jill, that a lot of people will do that because Enroll Pro comes with a whole lot more, way more templates than what I've already included in these free Trello funnels. Not that you can't add your own, but I do think that they have a lot of great things there. But this is nice to visually see where everybody's at. And Leanne, okay, perfect. I love that you're ready to learn. Let's see. Need to know something simple. Angie, I can't understand your message. My someone did this for me. How do I get the boards?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I hit send before I finished typing. I can't remember how I even got the boards on my system.
Oh, yeah, you just go to meganlloyd.org, actually, my website, meganlloyd.org, and there's a button right at the top that says Trello Funnels. And you can access all the funnels just by typing in your email, and yeah, and Jennifer just dropped the link in there for you.
And it has all the boards that you have listed there. All of those boards are on there. Okay, great.
Yep.
Thank you.
The ones that it includes are the prospect, the customer, the builder, the project board, qualifying leader, shipping tracker, the builder and customer reactivation funnel. And I think that is, yeah, I think that's all of them. There should be 8, I think. Okay, so the main idea with all of these funnels, I won't spend so much time on it because I know that I do have video instructions, so I want to make sure that we kind of dive into a few other things too. But if you're very new to Trello, let me just give you the really quick overview. And the prospect funnel is probably a really great place to start. So it already comes looking like this. When you download it, you don't have to do anything other than add your people and decide on your process. So even if you're using the Trello funnels and you already have people in there, you may find it really helpful first to figure out what your process is. I've given a very basic outline of what a basic funnel could look like. But if you do something different, like right when you make a contact with a prospect, if you do something different, then add your own part here. Scroll all the way to the right and you can add another list. and I'll just call it test, and you can drag and drop it wherever you want and change the funnel to be according to how you actually operate and do business. And then you can just add a new card, and you can add in all of your notes to the card. You can add in an attachment, a due date, a checklist. There's so many different things that you can do. You can also add little different labels and even edit what those labels say. You can have this be, I don't know, whatever label you want that to be. You can have the, instead of just the color, you can actually title the labels too. You can, let's see. Yeah, so that's kind of how you customize it. Once you customize it and you've decided what you want your process to be, you can always add to it later. So you don't need to have it totally perfect. I know that people get hung up on that. Just start with what you can do and then customize it as you go. And then you're going to bring your people in. And I've given a training. Where's the video training? Sherry says. That's actually in the email that you received when you went to my website and downloaded the Trello Funnels, and it shows the links to all of the boards, and then it shows a video for every single board. So it'll show you more in depth how to use each board. And it even gives a really quick overview of Trello as well. So if you haven't viewed those already, I've tried to make them short and sweet so that you can get the most out of each board. So those are that. And I actually know, by the way, these aren't just for those that are starting in their business. I know several diamonds and above that are, not several, quite a few diamonds and above that are using these funnels as well. In fact, I've had so many people tell me that they've tried so many different systems, Asana or Real Pro or all the other things that are out there, but seeing it like this and having it be very customizable this way, they finally felt like they could re-engage with their business again. They were getting burnt out, but they finally felt like they could operate. And that was my intention, was to make this very simple for you. And if you don't use, certain scripts or templates, you can remove everything that I have in here and add your own. You don't have to use what's in here. So you can change all of these things. Anytime you want to remove something, you just hover over it or click these dots and click archive list. That will essentially move it off your board so that it's not there anymore and it doesn't take up space. You can do that with a card as well by clicking the pencil button and clicking archive. Now, let's assume that you have someone who was a prospect, but they've gone all the way through your funnel, and now they are they've enrolled. So they need to be on the customer template, right? So we're going to click this little pencil button and click move. And you're going to choose the other funnel that you want them to be on, which would be the customer funnel. So let's do that and move. So they've disappeared from this funnel. And if you go to your customer funnel, you'll see that now Susan is on your other board. So you don't have to create, there's Susan, you don't have to create a whole new card for that person. Another power up that some people really like is the card mirroring power up. So again, when you go to show menu and click the left arrow and click power ups, there's one called card mirroring. And what it does is it actually makes it, so let's say that you have a new customer who's also a new builder at the same time. They're doing both, and you want them to you go through both funnels so they get to experience being a customer and a new builder, but you don't want to have to keep making notes on two different cards. You can use the card mirroring with Unito. And it will actually, one card can be duplicated on another board, and any changes you make on one card will still show up on that card in the other board. And so, and Nancy says, once we archive it, can we access it later? So yes, so your archives are going to be up here in the show menu. And let's see, we're going to click, let's see, more, and archived items. And you can see all the things that I've ever archived before. And so if you were like, I didn't mean to archive that, you just click send to board, and then Susan is now back on the board. So they're not fully deleted necessarily. And if you are like me, where I do really well with deadlines, you may, as you bring a new person on, let's actually bring Susan back, you may find it helpful to have maybe a deadline with it. So after you've sent, your samples on the prospect funnel, include a little deadline of when you want to follow up with her again, so that you get alerted, especially if you have the Trello app on your phone and you turn on the notifications, something will pop up that says, hey, you set a reminder to call Susan today, and that will pop up here. So if I schedule that, and that's going to be now when that card is due. So it will say, you have a card due today, call Susan, kind of a thing. So that's how I like to use this. Okay, so Jessica says, self-discipline is one of my top strengths. For some reason, I cannot get disciplined with any tracking tools. I've entered people into these boards, but I need to get better at looking at them every day. Yes, I know a lot of people that can relate. And I think what I really like to recommend, Jessica, is almost going in, maybe having a scheduled time. It's almost like developing a new habit. And I never recommend just starting a new habit that's not attached to another activity. For example, if every morning you're in the habit of checking your email at a certain time, couple that with checking your Trello boards at the same time. And maybe you have it pulled up on your screen in the background as a pinned website so you can actually pin a website. If you click up here and click pin, you can see it's over here. So anytime I launch Google Chrome, this will always show up. It's always going to be like, whoop, and it's going to be right there. So that's one option to help it be right in your face. Another option is to set like literally a reminder on your phone that says check Trello boards today. And let me actually show you a really cool trick that will show you how. And then I'll show you, Tina, how to do something about a calendar. I'll show you that in just a second. Okay, so there's this really awesome, cool feature of Zoom where you can actually share your phone. You may find this helpful later, but when you click the share button and you know how you can choose a screen you want to share, there's also a button that says iPhone or iPad. So I'm going to share with you my phone so I can show you something really quickly. This is how I like to set myself reminders so I don't forget things like what Jessica's talking about. Okay, can everybody see my phone? Okay, so that was really cool. It's super easy. It literally takes like 2 seconds just to share your screen from your phone. So if you're ever doing a tutorial, by the way, with your business builders or customers or anything like that on a Zoom call, you can share your phone. If you're like, I found this really cool app and here's how to use it, this is how. Okay, so what I do whenever I have something that I know I don't want to forget, like call Susan because she just received her oils, then I'll say call Susan, and then I'll say 3 p.m. and I will choose the date that I want to make sure that I call her by, the 21st. I'll choose what calendar I want it on. And then my calendar actually has a Zoom meeting option, like it links up with Zoom. So I've paid for this calendar. I think it's like $40 or $50 a year. And I'll show you what it is actually if you're interested in that. But this is how I schedule a lot of my Zoom meetings because I feel like I'm scheduling so many Zoom meetings. I don't have time to go into Zoom, schedule a meeting, email it out. But if I just add Zoom meeting and then click invitees, I can type in the person that I want to invite to that meeting, and it will automatically send them the Zoom information. That's all I have to do is put it in my calendar and then they'll get it. So that's how I communicate, how I set myself up organizationally. But for the purposes of this, if I was wanting to remember to call someone, following up with a sample, I would do it a few days after I know that they're going to get their samples, of course. And you can even toggle it to be a task. And I can choose to have it remind me at a certain day or time in a certain day, all of the different things, and it will pop up. It's a reminder pop-up is one of those ones that won't go away until you actually click done. So it won't just be like a calendar alert that goes away after a while. This one will keep like sticking in your face as an alert on your phone until you finally click done. And so that's something that you might find helpful, is something like that. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing, and the app that I use is called Fantastical. So if you're interested in the app that I use, I don't even remember, I do think it's like $40 or $50 a year. So it's only a few dollars a month, but it saved me so much time. So I'll put that in the chat for you just so that you have it if you find that helpful. Okay, it's legit how I keep myself organized, because I don't know how I would do that without that app. Okay. Now the question, Tina says, can you show us how to do a whole card to show up on a calendar? Tina, can you explain your question? Like do you have multiple dates on one card?
So I'm just wondering, yes. So I guess I'm wondering, when I put someone in that prospect and I move it down the line and I put a different date on it, will it move down the calendar?
Like if you had, so if you're saying if you have one date, but then that date is passed, now you have a new date for that person, will that one show up on the calendar?
Yes.
I think I know what you're asking. So yes, it would, any date that you have associated to any card will show up in calendar view. So the past dates obviously will show up in past months, but if that date has passed and you click checked that it's completed, and now you want to add a new due date, we're going to do that and it will just change it. Did you see that it just changed it? It didn't add a new one. And so then when you go to the calendar view, it will have moved that date over to March 31st. And then you can click into it and it'll actually pull up her card right there. Does that answer your question, Tina? Okay, perfect. I wasn't sure if that was what you were asking. Okay, awesome. A couple of other like tools. First of all, any other questions about Trello before I do want to show you something else in Trello. There are some things that not everybody, one of the boards that I think gets looked over or glossed over quite a bit is the qualifying leaderboard, but it's actually, because it's so simple, but it's also really effective. I don't know if you've ever been in a mentor call where you're taking notes on a piece of paper and then the next week when you have a mentor call with that person again, you're like, let me find my notes. I know we talked about this and this and this. I can't remember what we talked about. And your mind is just crazy. So this is to solve that. This is how we do this. The idea is that you put all of your frontline leaders here. You would change the name to be, I guess I'm on a Susan kick. So Susan is our frontline leader and you can change that to her. Then you'd put all cards below her for all of her frontline people. So this would maybe be, actually you don't want to change the template. This would be Matt and John and everybody. These would be all of her builders. And what happens when you're on a mentor call with Susan, we still want to add a card for Susan, by the way, so that you actually you can track her stuff too. So we'll put Susan at the top so that we know that this is her team. And when you're on a mentor call with Susan, now you can sit here and you can create a checklist for that call. And you can change the name of a checklist, by the way, to be the date of the call that happened. So that you can be like, oh yeah, right. I remember on January 21st, we talked about this. And then you can say, okay, she was going to do this. I was going to do this. These are some notes to follow up on. And you can start just tracking all the things you talk about in each mentor call and then it's saved. And so when you have your next mentor call, you don't have to worry about finding anything again. You can just pull this up and say, oh, right, let's just chat. There's no preparation needed. You can just pull it up again and say, hey, I know you were going to talk to so-and-so. How did that go? And if she says, okay, my leader, Matt, is kind of struggling, this is what's going on with him, then you can add notes for him in his card as well. So it's kind of a nice way just to keep your mentoring and following your main builders in an organized fashion. Helpful? Hopefully that's helpful. I'm going to remove some of these so that the people who download the templates don't get these people in there. They're going to be like, who is Susan? Okay. Also, I did want to show you too another board. I just love Trello. I use this obviously for every single thing that I do, even personal stuff. For the project board, I feel like everybody can probably relate to this, that you finally start falling asleep 10:30, and then your mind gets really active with all the things that you need to do. So this is how I organize my life. Is I have the Trello app downloaded on my phone, and it's super easy just to like type in all of my notes. And so you can brain dump every single thing that comes to your mind. Like, I want to start an oil camp. I want to do blah, blah, blah. And you just start going. Just let your mind legit brain dump. Get it all out. And then if there are thoughts about it that you don't want to forget, then come over here and start typing in the details. You can change everything. And then when you're actually ready to work on it, then you can move it over to in queue. So your brain dump can be a mile long, just so that you never forget a thought or an idea that you had. But only move things into the queue when you're actually ready to work on them. Because if you have 15 things in progress, you're going to have 15 things that aren't actually getting done. So you want to make sure that you choose your projects wisely, right? I'm working on it now, projects are done. And I've even given some ideas on suggestions that you can do daily, weekly, and monthly. I also have one of these for assistants also that help them know how they can support doTERRA leaders that comes populated with a whole bunch more. So one thing to note though is there's the difference when you're adding a new card with just this button that says add another card, or this one that says create from template. On all of these, I have a template for the board itself that comes preloaded with a bunch of lists or content that you can use for that person, or you can just use a blank card if you don't want to use that template at all. And the blank card will look like this. There's nothing in it. The template, if you click this button, I don't actually have a template for this specific board, but for all of like the customer boards, I'll show you what it looks like the customer and builder and all that. And you'll know it's a template because it has the word template right here. There's this little tag that says template. So if I were going to create a card from the template, it would come preloaded with all of these things. It would have you can add their contact information, even a checklist of things that are already in the main part of the Trello funnel up here, and more. And so that's how, and if you want to change all of these, again, you just click these buttons and click delete, and you can change it however you want. Because I know some people really do well with these checklists and other people just prefer to drag and drop them. So whatever works for you. I will say this builder funnel, I wanted to explain how it works because it's sort of split up into two sections. From here over is before they decide to start building. And then once they do decide to start building, then it's week 1 and on. So all of these are what you would do before someone decides to start building. You're going to invite them to build. You're going to maybe send them some of these videos and this email. It already has the script written out for you that says, hey, it was so great to talk today. Here are the things that I would send so you can get to know Doterra a little bit. And it has some really great videos. And then we're going to move them to waiting for your follow-up call. And then I have a second email full of more stuff. Like if you really liked what I sent before, then here's some other things you might enjoy as well. And then they decide to build, hopefully. And now they're actually needing some mentoring. They're like, okay, I'm in, I want to build. And what do you do? How do you get someone going? What does that process actually look like? So this is following Elisa's 30, 60 day, 90 plan. Well, you know what I mean, 30, 60, 90 day plan. And it comes with all of those checklists of things that they should do each week. So the very first week is obviously set their LRP to 100, get their direct deposit form filled out, purchase a planner, those kinds of things, and then move them to the next one. And again, you can add a deadline on here that says, okay, I had the call this week. The date that I need to have my call down is next week on the 7th. So again, you'll get alerted for all of these things. I'm all about notifications because if it's not in my face, I'm like Jessica, where I'll forget. And so as often as possible, use the deadlines feature of Trello so that it's constantly in your face, and turn your notifications on your phone for Trello. So anyway, all of these are preloaded with a whole bunch of things to help get them going. Also, there's this thing that Doterra came out that I don't think everybody really heard about. It's called the Doterra Business Building Guide. It's not the build guide, it's the business building guide, which is totally different. And you may find this really, really, really helpful as you're doing mentoring, whether it's like a team call and you're trying to find content for what to teach on these monthly or weekly team calls, or if you're getting someone going in the business and you're wondering like, I don't even know what to teach them. I'm new myself. I don't really know how to get them going. This has everything for you. And it's awesome. It basically follows the pipes. So it breaks it up into prepare, invite, present and enroll, support, finding your own builders, and personal development. And so you could really spend just one call on those, not all of those, but just like from here and here. So what I would do is I would go through this guide and then I would write, this is call 1. These ones are call 2, these ones are call 4, or however you want to break it up so that you have it written out and what you're going to present on your team calls or your mentoring for your new builders or whatever it is. And it has everything. It's all right there. So it teaches someone how to do the business. And so if you're new to it yourself, this is really great. And it helps them kind of choose their pace. Like what do you need to make this sustainable? How quickly do you need to get to elite and start paying for your own oils? Okay, so here's the plan if that's when you need to get it by. Those kinds of things, right? So that they can actually make that strategic plan going forward. They can use their names list here, or they can just put this names list right in the prospect board on Trello, whatever works best for them. So you utilize this. All you have to do is Google Doterra Business Building Guide, and it will probably be the first thing that pops up. Okay, really quick. I know that I'm sort of just spitfiring a whole lot of things at you. Let's see. Jessica says, I use the qualifying leaderboard. Oh, perfect. That's awesome. Jessica says, love this guide. Just use this for new sharers and builders who launch in January. That's awesome. I know some people are really nervous about starting like a team call or something really official like that, even if you only have a few builders yourself. So maybe partner with a crossline or upline leader, and you each take parts of this and break it up into training so that you're doing it together and you're getting more people in the room. It's super awesome and comes with everything that you would need. So you don't have to really be thinking so much in advance on what you want that call to look like. A couple of other tools and things beyond Trello that you might find helpful as well. I don't know if you know Quinn Curtis, but she's fantastic. She's actually a doTERRA leader as well. And she's a branding strategist, and she creates websites, and they're beautiful. And she's offered my contacts or a 50% off of her branding strategy. So if you're in the midst of thinking of creating a website or being more present on social media and trying to figure out what your niche and your message are, Quinn Curtis is fantastic, and she's offered a discount again just for all of you people that are here on this call. And I think the code, I will put this right here. I'm going to put this in the chat. It's 50% off. And it's so awesome. I actually had a session with her, and it was really, really helpful because she helps you kind of figure out, everybody is doing doTERRA. So what makes you different? What is your messaging? Who are you trying to target? All those different things. So there's the link to that if you would find it helpful, and the discount code to get it 50% off. Any other questions really quick before I jump into, because I'm just sort of going to keep going unless you all have questions in the chat with other things. What is a challenge in your business right now? Are there things that you're like, man, if I could solve this problem, or this is what's eating up most of my time, or I can't get past this certain time block, or what is your biggest challenge right now? And I'll see if I can share one of the many tools that I use and have access to help you solve that problem. So go ahead and drop those in the chat, and I'll just keep plowing forward. Okay, one of my other favorite things is called Streak, and I know everybody has heard about it, but I don't use it for the funnels. I use it for the email templates. And so let me show you what that looks like, because I don't even use the paid version of Streak. I use the free one, and I'll share my screen so you can see what it looks like. Okay, so when you're in your regular email account, once you've gone to Streak, and you click install to my Gmail, it's like a 2-second process where it connects with your email. Then what will happen is you'll have these 3 little orange dots that are associated with Streak show up when you're composing a message. And so I have these snippets of messages that I send out often, and I don't want to have to type them up all the time. For you, they might be like a welcome email or an invite to a wellness consult, all those different things. And so I actually have, I don't know. I'm trying to think like which one to show you. Here's one that I used to invite people to an interview for my assistant program. And it just popped up with the template. So all I have to do is type in the person's name and their email address and send. And so you might find that helpful to use something like this. But if you don't have any templates already there, you can start typing up your template and write what you want it to say, and then click create snippet from draft, and then it will save that template to your list of templates that you can draw from when you use it a lot, which is really great. Okay, I saw some things jumping into the chat. So Angie says, getting people to show up to classes. That's a good one. So there's a lot of different ways to get people to classes, right? Who here is using a texting service? Are you all using like Project Broadcast or Nudge or any of those things? Because if you're not, I think that's one of the main things, because everybody's on their phone, but not always on email. And so email reminders are great for things like that. You can schedule those out. But I also think that a text message reminder is even better, but sometimes it's hard to remember to text everybody. So the moment that you have people register for your class, I would have them register with their phone number as well, and then have an automated like Project Broadcast message that's like a template that you can send to all those people that says, hey, just a reminder that our class is tomorrow. Here's the link. It's going to be so great. Yada, yada, yada. That's one thing that you can do to get people to show up. What are some other things that all of you do to get people to show up to your classes? Because I think everybody does it just a little bit differently. And following Elisa's plan, by the way, I think her daily mentor calls is one of the best because I think she has some really great scripts and processes to get people to come to classes. So Angie, if you haven't already checked those out too, I'd make sure you check those out. Okay, Project Broadcast, hit him up. Oh yeah, that's awesome. My favorite mass texting app is the one I use, Project Broadcast, but I know that it depends if you're using the ECC templates or not. Essential Connection Co. They are these 4 diamonds that got together and created all of these texting scripts just for doTERRA leaders. And they used to give you codes for those scripts to put into Project Broadcast. But now they've actually created their own texting service called Nudge. And it's in beta right now. So eventually a lot of people are going to be moving from Project Broadcast over to Nudge. And some of it's happening right now. If you're interested in being a trial for them, it's only available in the US and Canada though. And so I like Project Broadcast. I probably won't be moving over to Nudge because that's not what my business is. I don't really use those templates. It just kind of depends. I know some people will use the app called Remind, but it doesn't have the ability to create campaigns. Like, for example, if you said text the word diffuser and I'll send you my 5 favorite diffuser recipes for the next 5 days. Remind doesn't have that feature. You can schedule out text messages to say, remind so-and-so to come to the class on this date, and you have a preloaded message. Remind does do that, but, and that one is free, but I like Project Broadcast because I think it's cost effective and it does the keywords and it has a lot of customization that I can do. Let's see. Okay, here's a question from Jessica. I'm trying to use Voto for as much as I can. Currently trying to figure out if I can put my continuing ed classes recorded in there. There was a course so my customers can go through one at a time and watch them, and I can see if they've completed all 8 for a prize. I have a call for Voto to learn more. Okay, perfect. So I think I understand your question. First of all, before I jump into that, so people aren't confused on what Voto is, let me just show it to you really, really quickly as a really quick overview so that those here are not confused. Let me pull up my notes. So Voto is basically an all-in-one platform, and it has the emails. I'm trying to talk and pull up stuff at the same time. It has emails, it has the website, and it has a lot of preloaded funnels. They are the only people that I know that have a direct partnership with doTERRA to create this kind of content. And so they have these different plans depending on where you are in the business. They have 17, 47, 97, and even 197. And it comes with several different things that are preloaded specific for doTERRA leaders inside of the platform. And so I'll show you what that looks like really quickly so that you can get a sense for it. Let me move my Wovoto over here. I actually use Wovoto myself. So it comes with several different newsletters. I'm already in newsletters. That you can use every single month that doTERRA pushes out, and you can edit them as well. So let's just look and see what one of these looks like. This was the February 1st newsletter. And it's not going to be all fancy like Flowdesk, but it's also not going to stop you from sending your emails like Flowdesk does. Flowdesk is very picky on not letting you drop in your contacts from the back office, but Wovoto welcomes it. And so here's a whole newsletter that's already created, and you just drop your own logo, decide who you want to send it to, and it goes out. The other great features about Wovoto are that it comes with 2 different courses that are already created and loaded onto your account. One is called the Healthy Habits course, and one is called the Business Builders course. So if you're wondering, how do I, right when somebody gets enrolled and starts, learning about the oils, how do we keep them engaged and feeling confident in using their oils? The Healthy Habits course is a really great option, and it's already done in the system. So if you click view lessons, you would have your customers come through here, and they can watch some videos, they can do some assignments. Don't worry about the weird font, because that's actually my font that it's bringing in, but yours won't look like that. Yours will look much nicer. But I don't use the course, so that's why I haven't ever changed it. Then they also have a Business Builders course. they have one just for all of your new builders. I've noticed, and you may have noticed the same thing, that business builders, when they go through Lisa's training, but they haven't done anything beforehand, there's sort of this disconnect where they haven't actually learned what an LRP is or how to set it up, or making sure they have a qualifying LRP. That's not part of Elisa's training, which is totally fine because hers serves another purpose. And I love that training. But I think that they almost need something in the beginning. And this is sort of a catch-all to make sure that they, in the very first moments of deciding to build, they aren't lost and confused. And it teaches them some of those things like personalize your doTERRA website and that kind of stuff that they don't get all the time. So this is a really great place to start. Let's see. So in Voto, you can see customers' progress reviewing videos. So here's what they've done in the course as an example, back to Jessica's and Leanne's question, that if you want to see people's progress as they're watching videos and going through like courses like this, then you can include a thing at the bottom. And again, don't mind that awful font. That's really awful. I should just change that so that it doesn't make everybody look scared. They will usually have like a button underneath here that says, let's see, it might be in the other course, but they're not doing it here. There's a button at the bottom that you can add that says, do you complete this assignment? And then they just click a little checkbox that says yes. And if they complete that assignment, then you can view it in the back end. And then there are forms as well. So the whole system is built on the idea of forms and tags and automation. So what that means is on the front end of your website, they come with all these different funnels. They come with all these different funnels that I don't use for my website, but I have them here. They come preloaded. So like an oil sampling funnel form, for example. And again, don't worry about the awful font. But when somebody fills out a form, they are then tagged, and maybe it's this tag is sampled or requested a sample. And then in the back end, they have an email set up that would go out automatically to that person that says, yay, you've requested a sample. Here are the next step. And you can change and customize all of those emails. And so you could also do the same thing with all of your library content. But if you have like a video course that you want people to go through, then after they watch one video, you could have a page set up like this that doesn't ask all of this information. It just says, what is your name, your email, and did you watch the video? Yes. And then that way you can go and see the responses in your back office. And you would again go to the back office and you would see marketing and all of your forms, and you can see them over here. So you can see all the people that have downloaded the ebook. In my case, everybody that's applied to be an assistant in my program, or anybody that's filled out your contact form. You would also get email notifications, by the way, anytime that someone fills out a form, if you want it set up like that. And so that's how I would probably track things like that, Jessica and Leanne, is that I would set up a form that they click on and fill out that says, yep, I did it, so that you can go in and see it on the back end. Let me see, Jessica, did that fully answer your question? Maybe unmute yourself and tell me a little bit more about what you're trying to do.
Yeah, I guess when I talk to them tomorrow, I'm just going to ask if I can load the 8-week continuing ed series into its own course so that it's 1 week for each lesson. And I was on another training with them where I saw you were able to see people's progress through the different courses. So I just need their help plugging my recordings into that. And then like, how do I share that with my customers? You know what I mean? So that's my next thing I'm going to tackle with them. But I love the Wovoto site so far. I feel like my website now is so much more interactive than it ever was before.
Totally. And I love that about Wovoto too, that they're so good about that customer service, that I'm constantly emailing Tracy, their head of customer support. And I'm like, hey, how do I get this thing changed? I can't quite figure it out. She's like, I'll just do it for you, or I'll send you a quick Loom video, or let's jump on a call and we'll just figure it out together. And so I love that about Wovoto so much. And Quinn Curtis, who I just showed you before, she's the one who created a lot of the templates for Wovoto. So they're really beautiful. Yeah, it's just a really beautiful site. So with that, I think having the call tomorrow with Wovoto might help with your specific use case, because I think I know an idea
but I think there is a spot in the course where you can choose to like have a grade, and it takes the grades based on, yeah, if they click that button that says, yes, I watched it, or yes, I did it, or I did the homework or whatever. And so I think she can show you more. There's also a way to make a membership site so that if you have these courses that you don't want public for everybody on the planet, well, Terry, oh my goodness, Tracy can help you set that up too. And if you haven't already, she can help you set up all of those things. Anyway, yeah. Okay, let's see.
Megan, with Livoto, can you, in your notes, like just share with us as more and more wellness advocates are jumping on there and using it, if there's new ideas being born that are, you know, integrated with Livoto? Are you able to share that with everybody?
Yeah. And actually my goal, I have so many projects in progress that sometime one of my goals is to create a lot of these templates so that I can put them in Livoto so that you all can use them, because everything in the site is shareable through this groups thing that they have. And so where it says browse shared forms or browse shared pages, browse shared courses, I can create a course and then make it shareable to anybody that I want so that people can have access to that as well. So anyway, that's coming in a future thing. But some of the things that people are doing right now, oh gosh, so many things. People are doing a lot with their continuing ed, where they're putting it in like a course style, like you're talking about. A lot of people are using the automations. So when somebody fills out a form, then they're having an automated email that goes out to them afterwards that says, you know, whatever you want it to. You can have an automation for any event ever that you're having people register for. No longer have them register on Zoom. Have them create just a plain form on your website that's registering for whatever class you're doing, whether it's continuing ed or an intro to essential oils class. Register there and then set up an automated email that goes out immediately once they've registered with the Zoom information, the time, the dates, all the things that they need. And then you can even set up scheduled reminders that go out on specific dates. So if your call is every Monday night, have it go out Monday afternoon that says, hey, just a reminder that the call's happening tonight. We're so excited to have you here. And oh, I didn't even forget to tell you, Livoto's coming out with a lot of new updates. They're throughout the next couple of months. They're making some updates to their courses. They're working on creating a texting platform integration with Livoto. I don't know if it will be as robust as Project Broadcast, but they are getting that set up as well. So you can have text message reminders as part of Livoto. They're also adding, oh gosh, I can't remember all of my notes that I wrote down. Anyway, they're coming out with I'm hoping to get a whole list from them of their expected time frame of things that are happening. But what's so great about this is that there's a lot that Livoto can do, obviously. And it's really great because it has the different levels of plans as well, like 17 on up. And for the emails alone, by the way, some people and other platforms like Constant Contact, they would charge you like $250 or $350 a month just to send unlimited emails out to people. With unlimited amount of contacts. So as your team grows, people were getting gouged in Constant Contact as their list grew. But in Livoto, you will never, ever, ever be charged more than $197 for the website, the emails, the forms, the funnels, the courses, all of that together. That's the highest plan that they have. And so if your team is 80,000 people, or hopefully that's where you are someday, you will never be charged more than $197. But you don't have to start there, obviously. But as your list grows and you find yourself sending more emails, I just want you to know that's possible, which was really cool. Okay, everybody's chats. Sherry says, studies are an awesome way to get people to classes. Oh, totally, yeah. Back to Angie's question. Studies are amazing. If you aren't familiar with what a study is, it's basically, it's a longer version of sharing samples. So instead of just sending a sample in the mail, calling them and seeing how it went, and then inviting them to a class, it's more like inviting people to experience oils for a week. You send a whole bunch of people the samples, they join like a Facebook group or something similar, and they can all communicate. You have different posts to learn about the oils. And then towards the end of the week, you have kind of your class where you actually talk with them a little bit more about what their experience was, maybe have some people share some testimonials, and you close the sale and you get them enrolled and that kind of thing. So I think studies are really awesome. Leanne says, whoa, there is loads of info here. Can you please email us the recording? Yes, absolutely. This is being recorded for sure. Shuri, sorry, I keep saying Shuri because I have another client who spells your name the exact same way. Sherry, building rapport with people before inviting them to class is huge. Do they know Mike and trust you? Absolutely. Jill says, so Avoto can be a combo of Squarespace and Flowdesk and eliminate both. Yes, because it will also, it's the website platform and it's the email and it's the courses and all of those things. And it automates a lot of those processes for you. So when we're talking about automating some of these things in Trello, like sending out these reminder emails and these follow-ups, you can do that within Avoto, where you set up these automated things, which is so great. And yes, it's $197 a month only if you want the unlimited plan. If you want the starter one, it would be $17, $47, or $97. The $97 one is the one that comes with the 2 courses. Jessica says, I'm sending my newsletter from there, my events, request a free sample. Awesome. If you want to look at my site. Oh, yep. And there's, thanks for sharing a link to your site too. I should get all of my clients to share theirs. Actually, Haley and Wes Hobson have theirs also on Avoto as well, if you know them. Okay, we only have 4 minutes left. I'm also interested in anything that moves people away from Facebook for programs and anything. Yes. I'm trying to convince Avoto right now to create an app. It probably won't happen anytime soon, but I'm hoping that they will, so that we can have our communities here in Avoto as well. You technically can in their forums, which is totally awesome. But I know that some people like the app that they click on from their phone that has all of your community space. But in the meantime, if you're looking to immediately move off of Facebook, a ton of people are moving to Mighty Networks, because that has kind of the group feature, it has the course feature, and it has like the units that you would have in your Facebook where you can organize content. Mighty Networks is awesome. Circle is awesome, but it doesn't quite have like that organized content. So I'm actually having a call next Tuesday with Teachable to see if that will work as a similar thing, where I know they do the courses, but they've combined forces with Circle to create more of a community aspect to get people off of Facebook. But I would love to have Avoto do that, because that's where all of my stuff is already. And I think that they'll get there eventually. I think that there's just so many things that they're rolling out right now, and they want to perfect their courses and stuff like that and get this texting platform out. So Mighty Networks is really awesome. There's a cute guy behind me. Maybe my son was back there, I'm not sure. That's funny. Jill asks if Avoto is customizable. Yes, that's the thing that a lot of people did not like about, what is that other one? Synduit. Not many people like Synduit because it just gave you templates that you would push out and it wasn't customizable. I think things are customizable in Roller Pro, but I don't really know on what level. Okay, cool. Yeah, awesome. I think we got to everybody's questions. I know we only have 2 minutes left, but was that helpful? I know we've talked about a whole breadth of things today, but hopefully you walked away with some ideas and things that you can do and bring to your teams. I think, was that everything? Oh, last but not least, if you're thinking of getting a website, I have a lot of people that are wondering what do I even like as a website? So come to Pinterest and type in website inspiration. If you're like, I don't even know what I like, if you're anybody ever that's going to build a website for you, or you're going to build one, even though these aren't necessarily Avoto websites and they can't make it look exactly like this is a great space to go and kind of get some inspiration. Same things with fonts, font inspiration, I do this with fonts, I do this with websites, and I love things like this that will show font pairings. You can even search font pairings, and that's a great thing to look for too. The other thing I'll look for is color inspiration. I do this when I'm about to paint my house, which you can see I have this, where is it? I'm about to paint my room in here right now. But I love these because I can see different palettes that I would maybe want to use on my website. I almost ended the call without showing you this. There's this awesome thing on Chrome. It's called the Color Picker or Eyedropper Color Picker Chrome extension. And we'll include that in the notes for the email. But what it does is, let's say that I've liked these colors and I want them to be on my website. So now that it's added to my Chrome extension, I just click the button and I'm like, okay, I really like this green, but how do I get that exact green on my website? There's the color code, bing. and then I copy and paste it. And in my case, I go over to my site builder. You can do this in Canva as well. Just drop the color code into Canva, but I can change the colors for my color palette right here. And so I would just drop the code there, and you can do it in Canva and everywhere else that you use colors, which is super, super cool. I can't believe I almost ended the call without telling you that. That's it. We're out of time. I hope that you found that helpful. Okay. Let's see. I got a question come in. Oh, and yes, we did talk about that in the beginning, but if you need any other further assistance from me, I do coaching where I can go more one-on-one with you on these kinds of things, help you set up your processes, help you set up your systems and know how to use them, and create like an actual process with you and your customers, your builders, and your prospects. I also do help people find assistants, and I have people ready and trained in Doterra, so you don't have to teach them. You don't have to find them. I have it all ready, and they go through my weekly coaching calls and everything. So if you need more assistance beyond what I've already given, I have a lot of things to support you. So reach out to me at hello@meganlloyd.org, or you can find me at meganlloyd.org, and I would be happy to connect with you. Everybody have a great day. I'm so glad, Leanne. Thank you. Thanks, Jennifer. Bye, everybody.